Let's talk about that shift. You know the one. You're working side by side, venting over broken laminators and dancing to Baby Shark at circle time, laughing in the break room. And now what? Now you're the one approving time off, addressing performance, and setting the standard. And the vibe has changed. And that shift from peer to leader is real and it's awkward. And if you don't know how to navigate it, it can be really hard. But here's the truth: you can lead with confidence and compassion. You can set boundaries without being cold, and you can hold high standards without losing yourself. So, today we're talking about how to step into your power, manage relationships with grace, and lead without guilt. Because respectfully, you're the boss now. So, let's lead like it. How do you move from friend to leader without feeling bad? Well, first of all, let's normalize it. This is something that people feel. And feeling guilty doesn't mean that you're wrong, it just means that you're human. But guilt shouldn't drive your leadership decisions. Here's how to let go of all of it and still lead with empathy. First, you want to refine the relationship, not the connection. You can still care about people and stop oversharing. You can still laugh at someone at lunch and give them feedback that helps them grow. The goal isn't disconnection. The goal is evolution. Instead of things like we used to be friends and now we can't be, reframe that, right? You could still laugh in that lunchroom, like I said. Our relationship is growing into something more powerful: professional trust, mutual growth, and real respect. Name it. Don't avoid it. Name it. Avoidance leads to assumptions, and assumptions lead to tension. So go get ahead of it. Use direct language and lead the energy in the room on purpose. And never forget your why. You didn't ask for this role to become everyone's favorite. You stepped up because you believe in higher standards, better outcomes, and leadership with heart. So let that purpose be louder than the fear of being misunderstood. Now, there is going to be a time that you're going to have that "I still love you, but now I supervise you" conversation. And it's not that long ago I had to honestly have a similar conversation with a coworker. This conversation should not be delayed until someone breaks a rule or crosses a line. Make sure you're proactive. Proactive leadership beats reactive cleanup every single time. When should you have it? Well, probably day one. Day one that you have now accepted that role, that position. You can do it during a one-on-one meeting with anyone that you used to work really closely with, especially if it was like your partner and you worked in the same room. Or anytime that you're noticing tension or passive resistance or changes in the dynamic. You got to have that conversation. Well, what does it do when you have the conversation? Well, one, it helps clear the air and it sets a new tone and it removes all assumptions. It gives the other person space to feel seen and also understand that things are shifting professionally. So let me give you an example. It could be something like this, like, "I care about you deeply, and I'm so proud to step into this leadership role. I want to set the tone from day one that I'll always treat you with respect." I'd also be holding myself and everyone else to the same high standard. If something ever feels off, I hope we can talk openly about it. But I want you to know this shift isn't personal, it's professional. Now, to maybe add this as a bonus line if you need to, but you can say something like this: "There might be times I need to hold boundaries or decisions that affect us both. And I'll always do integrity and kindness. That's my promise." You see, this conversation doesn't push people away. It helps set the foundation for mutual growth and clarity. When you put up these boundaries, I also want to make sure I'm clear. Putting up boundaries doesn't mean being cold. Like, let's make this plain. Boundaries are acts of leadership love. They tell people what's okay, what's not okay, where clarity lives, and how we protect trust. But often, especially in childcare, where everyone has a big heart, Boundaries sometimes get mistaken for being distant or cold or acting, brand new. There's a real difference. So, boundary coldness would be something like this: I won't discuss other staff members' performance, or gossiping or stonewalling someone when they ask. Like, I'm available between 9 and 5. After that, I disconnect and rest and recharge. Or ghosting messages or refusing support when someone needs real help. I can't grab drinks after work like we used to. I'm focusing on this leadership transition. When you completely cut someone off with no explanation is a big problem. You want to use the boundaries that protect your role, like not texting staff late at night unless it's an emergency, not taking work drama home to your partner, also not showing favoritism even if you used to be close, and having different expectations of what's venting and what's inappropriate. So I hope that that helps you clarify what boundaries look like, just some specific examples, but I'm sure there's many, many more. Respectful leadership boundaries can be something super simple like, hey, Susie, I value our relationship. And part of stepping into this role means I need to lead fairly for everyone. That includes keeping some parts of work private or structured. It's not about being distant, it's about being consistent. And that is leadership done right. Now, we talked about standards. Let's talk about how we hold high standards with kindness. I want you to be clear. Low expectations are not a form of kindness. Letting things slide doesn't protect people, it prevents them from growth. So you're really harming them. You're not helping someone by ignoring poor communication with families, inconsistent routines, unsafe classroom environments, or gossip or negativity. Here's how you lead with standards and softness. You can use supportive language like, hey, Miss Kim, I want to circle back on something. I noticed we skipped over the visual schedule today. Can you kind of walk me through what happened? Ask, don't accuse. Maybe something like, is there anything getting in the way of you meeting this expectation? And then don't say another word. Wait for them to talk. You want to be clear when you're coaching. Like maybe you could say something like, I know you care about this work, and part of growing together means I'll keep reminding you of the expectations because I want to see you shine. Because again, as a leader, that's our job is to elevate our team and give the why behind the what. People don't push back when they feel respected and understood the purpose of what you're doing. So maybe something like this. We reinforce the greeting at drop off because it helps build trust with families and helps children transition smoother. It's not just a task, it's the tone setter. And let your standards be non negotiable. Let your delivery be grounded in care. Now, what do you do when someone calls you bossy? Because it's not when, because they will, or they say you've changed, which I've heard that in the last couple years. I've had people say, you've changed. And I'm like, yeah, yes, I have. And I'm proud of that, right? This is going to be the sting at first when it happens. Because, like I said, I've been there. But trust me, let it be a sign that your leadership is visible. When someone says you've changed, or you're acting different now, or you're not as cool as you used to be before, or you think you're better than us, here's a transition. You're enforcing a boundary that doesn't benefit me anymore. That's really, really that translation of what they're saying to you. They're having a hard time with that transition. And that translation is they're saying you're enforcing a boundary that doesn't benefit me anymore. And your job is not to prove that you're still cool. So remember that. Your job is to lead with integrity, even when people misunderstand you. And it happens. I get misunderstood quite a bit. So, some things like, I know the shift can feel weird. I'm still the same person, but the way I lead and make decisions has to be different. I'm focused on being fair and consistent. And that means I can't lead from friendship. I have to lead for what's best for the team. And if someone keeps testing the line, you might have to say, I understand this is a change, I love to move forward with mutual respect, even if our connection looks different now. And then you don't need to explain any further. Protect your peace, girl. Protect your peace and lead on. Setting respectful leadership boundaries with peers. If someone wants you to just let it slide, like just say, I get it. It's frustrating, but I'd be doing the team a disservice if I make exceptions. My goal is to lead with fairness, and that means following through on what we've all agreed on. And when a friend vents about another teammate, you could say, I hear you and I care about both of you. But now that I'm in this role, I want to be intentional about how we handle concerns. Can I support you in addressing it directly? Because now it turns into solution based. And if someone questions your leadership decisions, you can always say, I'm always open to feedback. And I also have to make decisions that support the full team. I appreciate your honesty and your trust. And these scripts don't need to shut people down. They're really not that intention. It's really more to anchor your leadership in clarity and professionalism. So if you're navigating the messy middle of, I used to be a peer, now I'm your supervisor, or you're prepping for that leadership leap really soon and you need support, or you need language, you need strategy that works in real life, that's exactly what we're going to give you inside of our ECE Trailblazer coaching program that we're launching in July. Whether you're moving from a teacher to an assistant to a lead teacher to a director dreaming of your own ownership, this is where leaders like you get the tools that actually work. So DM me respectfully on Instagram. Get first dibs on early access. Here's my closing thought for the day. Leadership is not about becoming someone else. It's about becoming more of who you were meant to be. You didn't change. You grew. You got clearer. You stepped into your role. And anyone who can't handle that, respectfully, they can take a seat because you're the boss now. This is a Child Care Director's Chair podcast. I'm your host, Erica Saccoccio. And remember, we don't whisper when we lead. Rock on. See you tomorrow.